to imagine there were nine houses.
I think this is actually have done that before, like where they sell their cars. How much was it? I don't know how much it was, but maybe let me see if I can search it up right now.
Yeah, I think it was a Charger.
A rainbow? A rainbow one?
No, I think it was a regular one, dude. I think you just put most expensive Charizard.
Oh yeah, that's how they work.
Yeah, most expensive Charizard card, or yeah, something like that.
Kind of like close to $12,000.
12,000, dude. Just
A 1998 Magic card is currently available on eBay for $35,000.
dude, just imagine that. That's a card.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I thought it was more expensive. I thought it was like in the millions or something.
And somebody's selling their complete 104 Pokemon cards. I'm pretty sure they're all rare for like $150,000.
Dude, that's like that big for a house. That's a big for a house. That's crazy.
Oh,
Just imagine.
Somebody said somebody paid $195,000 for a Pokemon card.
Dude, these people must be rich.
Yeah.
Like,
Rich and real fans of the game Pokemon. Fun.
Do against each other.
Search it up on YouTube or the pig with the green. We should have a live video already set up. We're not live yet, but it's already set up, so you guys are able to wait there until we do go live.
exactly, guys. Exactly, guys. Remember, guys. Remember Thursdays and Fridays is the BHAC classes, guys. And the weeks.
Somebody who does.
Don't try to force it.
All right, how's it going? This is a mic check. If you can hear me, let me see your thumbs up. Thank you for the law. This is our like pin collection. I'll grab one. This one's cool. This one's old. This is like Darth Maul and Mickey. Anyways, if you can hear me and it sounds good, let me know. Also, in the chat, I put the question of the day. Today's question of the day: do you own or do you have access to some type of iPad or tablet or phone? And if you do have a phone, an iPad, or a tablet, either in the chat, let me know. What do you use it for? What is the primary purpose of that phone, iPad, or tablet? These little pieces of machinery are pretty strong, and they can do a lot of things. And the one thing that they can do that we've been talking about is that they can help you make music. Let me see. Carol says my sister mainly uses it to play YouTube videos or to play Fortnite. Good. They're fun. You can do a lot of things with them. But what we've been going through and what we've been speaking about for this beat making quarantined sessions is that these iPads, these tablets, they're powerful, and there's a lot of cool apps that you can use to make music at home. And today we're going to go over another app. So once again, the question of the day is, you can see in the chat, do you have a tablet, an iPad, or even a phone? And if you have it, what do you use it for? And I wanna challenge what most young people use these for, and I want to challenge you and let you know you should start looking at these as a tool. They're very strong tools. They do a lot. You don't need a lot from it. It's super light. And look, this iPad, I can just plug it into like regular headphones. I don't need anything special. So it's pretty. They're pretty versatile. Let me see. I only have an iPhone. Texting, YouTube, Netflix, Disney Plus. Awesome. So I have all those things. I text. I have YouTube. I have YouTube Premium. I don't like the commercials. I have Netflix, and then we have a Disney Plus account. But there's one thing that I want to show you guys today, an app that is free on the App Store. You don't have to pay anything. There's no purchases inside the app. It's a totally free, cool synthesizer app, okay? So if you do have an iPad, and if you're using it right now to watch this, then maybe get a piece of paper and just write down at least the app name. And I'm going to do a run-through demo for this app. The app is called Figure. Let me see if you can see. Figure, it's probably backwards, but it looks like that. It has a round, cool little image. It's called Figure, and it's free. So if you have a minute right now, or if you have someone else that has an iPad, or you have an extra one lying around, grab that one and download Figure. See it? It's spelled Figure. And just to let you know also that we have Dom V. You all met him, and Pamela Park. He's in the chat room too. So if you have any questions about any of this or about what I'm talking about, just go ahead and drop it in there, and Dom will answer it if I'm too busy talking or explaining to you. Did you say it's free? Sorry, it's free. FIGURE. That's it. That's what it's called, Figure, and it's free. So what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna lower this music, and we're gonna get into Figure. And like I said, it's a free app. It was originally made by the company that made a software called Reason. And we mentioned Reason before. Last week we were using Ableton. And Ableton's a pretty strong software that's for your computer. That Reason is kind of on the same level, on the same on this it does the same thing, put it that way. So this is Figure. Let's figure this out. That's cool. I like that. Let me see. Hopefully it's not too bright. Let me know if you can see it. If you can't see it, I'll move around, or we'll have to figure this out. I get it. It works. All right. So this is Figure. It opens up like this, and if you see at the bottom, it has different tabs. It has a mix tab. It has a song tab where it's all the song information. And it has a global tab, and that has to do with the settings on your for the musics and the sound. It also has, there you go, that's way better now. It's a little better. It has a tweaks tab, we'll get to that. And it has a pattern tab. So this pattern tab right here, I can probably pull it away and you can still see what it looks like. If you notice, it has these same cool little circles that are in the image of the little icon for the app. All right, this is backwards, but right here on top, you can see all, this thing slides, and these are different sounds. So the way this works is broken up super simple. It's 3 pieces. It gives you drums, bass, and a lead. That's it. So you can't add a bunch of stuff, but it's cool because it's super easy to play and it's fun. If I go to mix, you can see the mixer. For drums, drums are blue, bass is red, and the lead is like an orange color, and it has this cool little pump dial. And this pump, well, we'll show you what the pump does, but it kind of gives it more of like an electronic feel, where it's like loud and the speakers are like bassy. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna learn how to put patterns on here, and it's a really easy process. So we're gonna start at patterns, and I like to start at drums. So if you mess around with these, you notice the numbers on this can change. So if it's at off and I hit this square pad area, let me try to put this up. Let me know if you can hear it, if it's not loud enough. So the cool thing about this area where you actually play the pads out on, these sounds, the percussion sounds, they change from up here to down here. They have a different range of elements that these sounds can make, the percussion sounds. So if I'm hitting the kick drum, it's like a cool solid kick drum. And if I move my finger up on this pad, that's like a fat bassy. And in the middle, you can see how it kind of slowly like comes down and it almost stops. Same thing with this snare. And same thing with the hi-hats. And perks, usually some type of percussion instrument, a cymbal, some type of crazy sound. It just depends on what kit you have. This kit has like a little a yerp. All right. So that goes this. I'm going to show you the next parameter that we messed around with. This up here. If you notice, these are all different drum sounds. So if you have the app and you're looking at it and you're like, man, I don't like the way this drum sounds. You can just keep on scrolling until you find one. They have a lot of cool stuff. And if you're a fan of electronic music, this is for you. All right. So the second part is actually recording a drum beat, which isn't really hard. It's fun, and you just kind of have to mess around with these parameters inside here. So if I click on this and it says off, and I scroll my finger down, or up, you see the number change. This number is how many times this instrument will play perfectly in unison with the bar, the one bar that we're using. Up here, you can see these little lines. The lines represent how many bars. Right now, if you go to global, oh sorry, yeah, if you go to global up here on top, you can set it to 1 bar, 2 bars, 4 bars, or 8 bars. So you can have a long 8-bar loop, and it has a lot of cool things going on. But right now, I have it set to 2 bars. So remember, we did a clap exercise in the class, and we counted out what one measure is. One measure is equal to 1 bar. So one measure is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to do 2 of those and give us 2 of those to play with on the drums. Since I'm going to make an electronic, like beat, I'm going to change this tempo. And we spoke of tempo last time too on Ableton. This tempo right now is at 103. I'm going to pump it up to like 140. It's going to be like a super dancey track that we're going to make right now. So 139. So before I actually record the drums, this right here, the tonality and the key they're important parts because it can change the feel of your song if you have a darker key, but you don't need to know it. You don't need to master it to use this and to make something that sounds really cool. So right now I'm just gonna mess around and I'm gonna move the actual key to B flat. B flat major. B flat minor. So you wouldn't know the difference, but I'll come back here and I'll change it after we make the beat. So we're gonna start off with the drums. So this kit is called Electro. So now that you see that I put it on 4 beats, so it's gonna play 4 beats for 1 measure. And all I have to do is just hold it down and you'll see this thing spin. So that's what makes this app really cool, is that like on all these things start to spin once you start to play. So watch, I'm gonna show you what the kick does. All I gotta do is make sure I hold my finger down. So I can even slide my finger up and get the change up. See? So I can start here and be like boom, boom, boom. Or move it back and up and down. So to record a drum beat, if you see up here, this little red dot, it's a black dot, but it's going to turn red when I click it, and that's going to arm it to record. And there's 2 ways I can do it. I can press play and then record, or I can just hold down. So it just recorded that kick for me. And just to stop it so I can hear it, it's playing it now. And you can see how it's spinning. Cool. So now that I have those, I can add some hi-hats. And the hi-hats will do the same thing. It'll spin. Right now, that's 3 beats in 1 measure. So it sounds kind of off. So if you're going to make like a dance track, you might want to keep all this stuff at an even number. 4s, or maybe even, let's see, what a 6. A 6 is the same thing as a 3, but it has that cool little stutter. So I'm gonna press record, and I'm just gonna hold down on that hi-hat. So that is the hi-hat recorded, and it's at it's on that 6th note, like a little leg that sounds cool, like a. But when I hold it down, it does it for me. So I'm gonna play what I have right now. I have the kick and I have the hi-hat going. All right. Cool. So now I'm gonna go to this. So this the extra drum area they have for this kit is a tom. So I can play that. However, that rhythm I'm playing, I can do it myself. I can just press play and then. So as you can tell, it's a bit off. See how it's off? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to keep that. I don't like the way that look or that way that sounds. How do I erase it? Well, I'm gonna go to record, and then it says erase mode right there. It's backwards for you, but it says erase mode. Click on that, and then it tells you which one you want to clear. If I wanted to clear the hi-hats, I would just tap clear. But I'm gonna clear this tom, and it's gonna say, "Are you sure?" And yeah, clear it. So now I can go back here, and now when I press play, so it still has the kick going, has the hi-hats going, has the tom. I'm gonna set the tom to like a, let me see, something crazy. Okay, so see how I move my finger from here to here? Just that little, difference of space. It really, changes the tone and the sound. So I'm gonna go to record. Just hit record, arm it. Wait a second, and then just. There you go. Okay, so the snare, if you remember the first lesson we did on Ableton, the snare landed on beat 2 and 4. So it went kick, snare, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, tss, boom, tss. So that's 4 beats. So this snare has to land on the second and the fourth beat. So if I put 2, it's gonna play 2 beats in one measure. That's what we want. But if I start it in the beginning, the same way I did all these other drum tracks, the snare will start first, and as the song goes on, you won't really notice it. But what you can do is press play and then catch that snare beat. But I'm going to show you what it sounds like before that. I'm just going to press record. It's armed and press it. Okay, so it sounds cool. It doesn't make a difference. You're like, what? It sounds like a cool drum beat. But you're going to notice when I press play right now, the first thing you're going to hear is snare. It's going to be kick on top of the snare, but it's going to be a snare. And it sounds cool. I'm not going to, fret on it. But we did go over that, and a usual drum beat when you're using a 16 pad sequencer or a 16 note sequencer, you would have it on 1, 2, 3, 4, kick 1, snare 2, kick 3, snare 4. And we went over that. So right now you can see how I have it set up 4, 6. So if you have this at 4 and 2, you'll have the drums sounding like this. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to throw it in the chat section. All right. So right now, I'm just going to play it, and then I'm going to go to the mixer down here, and then I'm going to see how loud it is. So I can mute it, and nothing will play from that track. And so one of the coolest things about this app is this tab right here that says tweaks, and it really does just tweak out the sound, and it does it all on a cool pad. And if you have an iPad or something, you can flip it like that. And what this is, it controls the parameters of the certain drum. So if I switch it back for the kick drum, and you can see it says right here on the side, tone. Down here it says tupper, but it's just a different term to control this effect. So if I press play, listen to the kick drum. cool things. The coolest thing is I can record that. So same way that I record the drums, I arm the record button up here, and then I just once I put my finger down on this pad, it's gonna start recording. And if you notice where it says 1, which is drum 1 or tweak 1 for this track, that 1 is gonna move on its own once it loops. Watch. So now that drum, that kick drum has that like weird loopy sound that I was able to apply with that tweak effect. And you can see it going by itself. All right, and you can also do that with the snare. They each have different parameters. The toms have a different parameter. Let me see, it has attack and tune. So it'll be like. I like that. That sounds cool. I think it's like almost like a little cowbell. But that one, I don't want to record it to do any type of crazy effect. I just want to leave it like that. So I'm gonna go back to the kick, and same way, like if I don't like what I did, and I think like that kick sound is kind of like boring and weird, I can go to record, and then go to erase mode, and then it asks me, what do I want to clear all for this one? It says touching the pad will erase. So once I touch it, it's gonna erase everything. And there you go. And if I want to undo it, and I said I really like that, I hit this revert button, and it goes back. So I'm gonna go to erase mode. I'm just gonna clear all on this kick drum. So now it's just regular kick drum. I had record mode, so I have to erase it again. Sorry, my bad. Sure. Take off record mode, and I'm gonna move this down a bit. And cool. So now it's time to move on to these other patterns. There's bass and there's lead. We're gonna do a bass first, and the circle on this side with the numbers in it does the same thing as the drums. It's gonna count out as many numbers as you have in here in one measure. So if I have 9, it's going to be pretty fast. And this is the bass, so it has a cool sound. This right here is the range that you're going to give yourself. So right now it's only 4 scales. That means only like 8 notes. So what I'm going to do is get this range and just kind of move it up. And now you have a way bigger range. And then if I want to change the scale up, I can even add more to that, and it's going to add more notes. And you can see that it cuts up the notes in here, like the drums, very small. So this one's 1. If I didn't want to have that arpeggiated, rhythm that it comes with, I can just turn it off, and it can still be. See that, how it's going to kind of hold itself out? That's the original sound of that bass sound. But I'm going to move over. I like that one because it has a really cool bass. But this one right here, if I hold it out, that's it. The resonance doesn't have any type of like cool sound or delay. It's just that. So I can be like, or I can use a couple hands, or and it does the same thing where the bottom of it has a different parameter. And as I go up, the parameter changes. It looks like it gets brighter. So I'm going to use this DIY bass so it can have a cool synth sound. And I'm going to switch this rhythm. And I'm going to put it at something simple. Sounds like those bendy door stops. Yeah. So I'm going to put it like at 8. I'll put it at 7 to kind of follow the drum toms we have here. So I'm really just going to wing it. I only have 2 bars, and I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. And you're going to see how cool it ends up becoming because I don't have to do a lot or memorize a lot. So I'm just going to press record again, arm it. Oh, I messed up. I tapped it. Oh yeah, it just did like a little. So I'm gonna clear all this, arm it again, and I'm gonna start over here, and I'm just gonna hold it down, and it's gonna record the drum beat. So I'm gonna try to get it sounding really good. So you can see the rhythm is at 7, so it's playing that rhythm, and it shows you what steps you're using. Yeah. So I'm just moving from one note step to another note. That's all I'm doing. Like if this is a piano. So this thing also has a cool tweak mode that edits the sound. So if I come here and I mess with these, this one says filter, this one says oscillator, this one says effects. Those sound like big words, but it's just click on one and mess with it. Oscillator. Effects. Cool. So I just messed around with some of these. You know, you can actually perform it live or mess around with it and have this effect going on. We're gonna mix. All right. So really quick, if you have any questions, go ahead and throw it in the comments. Also, if you're a student of ours and you've been in our class, our introduction class that we did a few weeks ago, go ahead and leave your name so we can, know who's in the class. You can just put it, say, hey, what's up? And so that way we can kind of record it. And, same way we used to have the sign-in sheets, same deal. So, let me see. Any questions before I move on? We have a few more minutes left. I'm going to try to wrap up this last pattern. So the same thing as the bass, the lead has the same exact setup. Has the scales, has the range, and has the rhythm that you can choose, same as the drums, but it just has different types of sound. So a bass is the lower end of a sound of the spectrum of sound, and the lead would be something that's higher, maybe a lot cooler. Like so you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. So this is called harsh lead, so it's probably going to be harsh. No, it's actually pretty nice. So I'm just gonna go through a few of them so you can hear them and see, maybe you're still on the fence about, am I gonna download a free app? There's a lot of cool sounds in it though. So I mean, that first one we used, I liked it. I think that was really cool. That harsh lead. I'm gonna move this range over so it's on the lower side. So now what I'm gonna do to actually record it, same thing. Arm it, press record, and I'm gonna start in the middle and just move over like I've been doing and see what it sounds like. They're supposed to simulate like if the volume was pulsating. I mean, it's something that's I guess it's a effect that's used in a lot of electronic music. So I'm gonna like leave it a little bit higher than usual, and I'm gonna press play. All right. So you notice I have the bass mute, the volumes. I can always change the volumes. Okay, we have a few more minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what this was, the global. So if you listen to it, I'm gonna press play, and then I'm gonna do is switch up this key. So if you see the keys here, I'm gonna switch up the tonality of this key, and then I'm gonna actually switch up the key, and you're gonna hear the difference. The cool thing about it is once you set this key and the tonality, when you go to these patterns, this pattern, this sound, and everything you play, whatever you touch, is gonna be in the same key as this bass. So you don't even have to know what key you're playing or what any of these keys mean, but just know that whatever you play here, it's gonna go along with whatever's playing here. All you're doing is choosing the scale of it. How many different notes will be in that range of the key you're in. So now I'm gonna press play, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna switch the key, and you're gonna hear the difference. So play. So that's B flat. The tonality is in F major. I mean F minor. So I had it there originally because I know B flat's a bit like a darker chord. I mean a darker key, but the B flat minor. I'm sorry. So here would be the major, and a little bit brighter, a little bit happier. And if I just I'm just gonna go crazy. I'm just gonna just randomly pick. All right, G. Okay, that's where I originally had it at. I had it like at a cool, dark sounding sound. All right, cool. So say you did all that, and now you're like, I like this song, but how do I send it to someone, or maybe I want to, send it to someone that wants to hear it, and I don't want to show them like this. How do I do that? So you just go to song, and then you can just save it. And the funny thing about this app is every time you start a new track, it gives you like a name. Like it just makes up a name. I don't know like what they use or exactly how that generator works, but like that's the name of this new track, Fatadine. And what I would do is just press save, and it's gonna save it as that name. If I wanted to change the name and I didn't like that, just type in something else. I'm gonna put demo, and then done. And so now you have it saved. So you're good here. And so now if you go, you can add a photo if you want. You know, you can take a photo. I'm gonna take a photo of. And so now you can see my track here. If I go to browse, have the demo track here, has the BPMs. So this little button right here, the share button, I can airdrop it. I can even message it to someone, and it pops up as a WAV file. So if you can see that. So if you get Figure and you actually are able to make some beats, send it to us so we can actually listen to them and maybe even put them together so everyone can hear each other's beats. And maybe next week we can play some beats that you made from Figure. And same thing, you go here, you go to browse, you find the beat you want, and then you just go share. And it'll share it to someone. So you can share it via email, a drive, you can airdrop it, you can share it to people in your contacts. But and that's how you're able to get it from here and onto something else, a computer. I've used this to make actual songs, and what I've done in the past was just mute some of these and then share that, and that's just the drums, and then it would be just the bass and then just the synth, and I'd have more control. But that is sorry about that. That's Figure. Once again, if you jumped on late. So once again, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. Whoever was tuning in, I can see people up in the whoever's watching, whoever's on, everyone in the chat room. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for giving us some feedback and answering the question of the day. If you have any more questions, you can always message or tell the staff at Pamela. Let them know, hey, I don't know how to do this, or can I get something else going on? Yeah, I think you can share them to the Instagram at Pamela. Yeah, maybe Steve can help figure out how you guys can share the beats, because that would be cool. So we can hear what you guys are working on, and we can make a compilation. Can we also ask you guys on Discord? Discord, yeah, they use Discord. I know that Pamela has used Discord for games in the past. I'm pretty sure we can just get an email going, and you can even send it to the email, or you can hit up the Pamela Park on Discord. When they're on there, you can ask them questions, and they'll relay that back to us, to BHAC. But if there's no other questions and there's no other comments, I want to thank you guys for joining us. That's our time here today. We'll be back next week for sure. And I'll throw another app out there. I'll get another cool one going on. I know we already did Koala, and there's a lot of cool apps. The big one that we're gonna work on next is probably most likely gonna be GarageBand. So if you have GarageBand, get it, and we can use it. Another one that is cool, but I think this one costs money, is Caustic, and this is how it looks, and it's a really powerful app. I'll figure out how much it costs, and if we can get you guys maybe some demos. But we'll stay in tune, keep in touch and everything. So thank you much for coming, and we'll see you guys next week. Signing out. This is Joe Bot with BHAC in Sessions. Thanks.